How's everybody doing today? I'm Dr. Presley, and today I'll be going over how to prepare a fried tilapia with egg noodles drizzled with some mushroom and mushroom gravy. So let's get right into it. Alright, right now I already have a pot of boiling hot water for noodles. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and season the water with some sea salt and also go ahead and drizzle some extra virgin olive oil up in there. The sea salt is going to flavor the water so that way we don't have to flavor the noodles. And the extra virgin olive oil is going to go ahead and prevent the noodles from sticking to one another while they're cooking and even afterwards. So let's go ahead and add the noodles into it. About a cup or two of noodles will be sufficient enough for this. Alrighty. And you can use any type of noodles you want. In this particular one, I'm going to be using the egg noodles. And let's go ahead and stir these up so that way they can go ahead and start cooking evenly. Alrighty. So now let's go ahead and move right into our mushroom gravy. For your mushroom gravy, you're going to need mushrooms, onions, garlic, flour, some chicken broth, or you can also use vegetable broth, whichever one you like. For this particular one, like I said, I'm going to be utilizing the chicken broth, and also the soy sauce. Soy sauce is going to actually take the place of seasoning, all right, because it's already salty as it is. So let's go ahead and add our mushrooms into the pot here, followed by our onions and our garlic. Now we're going to let these cook just for a little while, not necessarily sauteed, but just to go ahead and have the onions start making everything to sweat up in the pot. Let's go ahead and stir this up. Alright, so now while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and move right into the batter for our tilapia. Alrighty, and here's our tilapia here. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Alright, for this here, you're going to need some type of batter. For this particular one, I'm going to use the seasoned fish fry. That's Country Southern. I use this due to the fact that it's a little more grainy and it's not clumpy, so it actually spreads over the fish evenly. Followed, I'll be using some Old Bay. Old Bay is just my personal touch on my seasoning here. Followed by some fresh ground pepper. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the mix. Let's go ahead and sprinkle this up on here. Should be good right there. Followed up by the Old Bay, like I said. This is just a personal little touch of mine that I put up in here. Gives it a little extra little spice. Followed by some fresh ground pepper. Couple of twists here. And just use your fingers to go ahead and just move everything around. Alright, let's go ahead and stir it up. Alright. Pot over here of mushrooms and onions. Alright, now like I said, you can either use chicken broth or vegetable broth. So in this, I'll be using chicken broth. And you're only going to need about 2 cups of this. Let's go ahead and add that up in there. And we're only going to bring this to a simmer. Once it starts simmering, then we're going to go ahead and add our flour into it so that way we can thicken the sauce up so that it's nice and has all the flavors in it. Alright, like I said, we're going to also add some soy sauce up in there. Just a couple of teaspoons should be good enough. You don't want to do too much, other than that it'll be too salty. Alright, let's go ahead and get that a quick stir. While we're over here at the stove, let's go ahead and stir our noodles. Now for our noodles, we're going to make sure that we don't overcook them, so we only want them to be al dente. Alright, if we make it too soggy, then it's going to fall apart on the plate, and we don't want that. Alright, so let's move this out the way. And now that we finished our fish batter here, we're going to go ahead and make our wet ingredients for the fish. That way we can go ahead and dump the fish inside of this egg and milk batter. then turn around and put it inside of our dry ingredients, so that way it actually will actually make that crust that you're looking for on the fish. So let's got a fork over here, and let's stir this up. Now, I don't add anything to the egg and milk mixture. You can if you like. I prefer not to. Whenever you cook, it's always to your tasting. So, with that, let's go ahead and dump our fish up in there. Let's make sure that we get it on both sides here. Alright, that's good. Go ahead and drain the excess off. And we're just going to put it up inside of our batter here. Just nice even coats. Now, you can do a double dip batter if you like, which means that you'll take the fish from here, put it back inside of the egg batter. But I only do just a single one because I don't like a lot of crust on my fish. And we'll do the next one over here, just like the first one, both sides. Drizzle off the excess, and go ahead and both sides once again, nice even coat. Great. All right, let's get this up out the way here. Wash our hands, so that way, because we're touching meat, just like with anything else, pork or chicken, you want to make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly, so that way you're not contaminating and passing any of the bad stuff. All right, so let's come back over here to our mushroom and onion mixture here with the broth and the soy sauce. Now, when it comes to the actual broth, when you start adding your flour into it, you want to make sure that you're whisking as you're adding the flour. If you don't whisk while you're adding the flour, it's actually going to clump up on you. All right? So you want to add a little bit at a time, and then just whisk it in as you go. So you're going to add a little bit of flour here, sprinkle it around, and whisk it in. And in the event that it does start clumping on you, you can go ahead and use a spoon to go ahead and break up those major clumps. But if you add it slowly, you won't have to worry about that at all. Alrighty, one more tablespoon should be good. Sprinkle it all around here. Smells good, smells good. Alright, so now we're going to add just a little bit more chicken broth into this. So where we have it nice and smooth. Alright. You want to continue to give it a nice little whisk here. Like I said, so that way you don't run into the problem of anything clumping up. Alright, now we're going to turn that down to low so that way it simmers and cooks all the way through. And we're going to go ahead and top it with the lid. Give our noodles a stir really fast just to make sure that they're not overcooking. All right, they're just about there. We're going to cut it off here and let the noodles start to drain. Now, in the event you don't have a pot like this, you can go ahead and use a strainer, but be careful when you start to pour the noodles into that strainer because a lot of times the water will pop up, catch on the arm. I mean, you don't want any of that. So now, let's go ahead and start getting our fish together. I've already preheated my deep fryer to 325 degrees. Now, you only want to cook them for about 3 to 4